We're Joseph and Kaylee, an international couple from the Czech Republic and Canada.
We bought a 2008 extended Sprinter van, packed up our flat in Prague, and moved out to my village.
Our plan is to convert our van into a tiny home on wheels and travel around Europe with our dogs Arthur and Athena. It is February. It is about 3 degrees Celsius out, so it is very cold. Today is day one of the van build, and actually it's the opposite of building because today is like demolition day. Not that there's much demolition to do, but we're going to be pulling down all the paneling today.
We pulled down the paneling and the van looks really good. There's like not much rust anywhere, it's just like a little bit dirty and some of the rust, but it doesn't look that bad because it's 2000 year it was made, and vans which were made like almost 10 years ago or more than 10 years ago would probably be way more rustier than this one is. And I think it looks really good.
We've run into our first problem now that we've pulled down the paneling. We were planning to build with a long wheelbase, not an extended wheelbase, and I don't think I've ever actually even seen anyone do the extended, so we didn't realize that the window well, I think that's what you would call it, is not in the right place for the fact that we wanted to put like bump outs into the window well for our bed. So I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know if this is going to change our layout or if we're just going to be much more squished in bed. More so Joseph. I'm pretty sure like I'll fit without the bump outs. Joseph will fit, but it'll be a tight squeeze. But really we thought that this window well would be back here. But because we didn't plan for the extended and we didn't know this, and like I said, I've never seen someone do an extended, we're having this issue where there's a rib of the van right where our bed is going to be. So I'm not sure what we're going to do to resolve this. And I mean, the van's in good shape, but we're not off to a great start layout wise. So we're going to have to think about this a little bit and see what we want to do, I guess. Throughout April, we spent countless hours by the fire with drinks, researching and ordering products. We also did more prep for the build, including pulling down the bulkhead, cutting off tons of silicone, and deep cleaning the entire van. We put new seals on all of our doors, and we also repaired our back doors, which didn't close properly. Deliveries finally started coming in, and as stores reopened, we could finally go buy some of our other products. It is currently, I think, May 13th. And we are going to IKEA today, which I'm very excited. It opened 2 days ago. And fun fact, Joseph and I, for the last 2 months of quarantine, have been sleeping on his like 2 single beds, his and his brother's single beds from when they were children. And we just pushed them beside each other, and that's what we've been sleeping on for 2 months. So we have been very much looking forward to finally getting to go to IKEA. We still have to wear masks in Czech Republic, so I mean it's gonna be a long day, I feel like, and I think they're only letting like less than 2,000 people in. I don't really remember, but they're only letting a certain amount of people in, and I've heard the last 2 days there's been a lot of lines, but honestly I just need a mattress that's not gonna hurt my back.
So we went to IKEA and we parked on a really hard to get place, and we were trying to get out of it, and there was like a curve, and I got in quite easily, but getting out was really hard, so I had to get over the curve a few times where I was going back and forth. It took us probably like 10 minutes, and then finally I figured out I guess, that I like went over the curve and back up really far.
So to clarify, Joseph is talking about a curb, not a curve. Although there was a curve in the curb. So basically, we went to IKEA and we couldn't find a parking spot big enough for us, which literally makes no sense. Why would IKEA not have parking spots for large vehicles? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people bring a large vehicle to pick stuff up. But anyways, we finally got out. Joseph, I think, is downplaying it. I thought we were literally going to be trapped there forever. But yeah, we learned our lesson about parking in places that we cannot get out of, I hope we've learned our lesson. But anyways, right now, Joseph just ran inside of like IKEA warehouse kind of thing. I don't really know, because we had to go to a second location to pick up our sink, which I'm very excited about. Good morning! We finally have all of our products that we need to get started on dealing with the rust today. However, unfortunately, it is raining.
Yeah, it's really unusual, I would say, because every spring in Czech Republic, and especially here, it's dry, like a really dry. There is no drop of water anywhere, and now it's raining non-stop all the time, every day.
I mean, it's been like almost, I guess since my birthday, it's pretty
Yeah.
much been raining nonstop.
Exactly.
So for like 2 full weeks,
Yeah.
it's been raining.
Yeah,
And like we did not account for this because it never rains. Like there's actually like issues with the amount
Yeah.
of, or with like the lack of rain
Yeah.
that's here. So it's kind of like, I feel like we're just running into problem after problem. First all the stores closed, now that we got all the stuff we need.
Yeah, and now it's raining all the time,
Yes.
which is unpleasant.
Luckily we do have like a little like, I don't know what you call it, like a little like roof over a driveway that we can work
Got a
under.
shed.
But it only will work for certain projects. So like today, if it does start raining again, it finally slowed down a bit, but if it does start raining again, like we can back up under it, but then we're in complete darkness.
So now we are about to sand the rust off, prime it with a primer, which is gonna seal it off, and then we are about to put a paint on, which has also a primer in it, so it's gonna work very well.
So this is anti-corrosion paint, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah.
And then we have some holes in the ground, or in the floor, because they screwed the other floor, the subfloor, I
Yeah.
guess. They screwed the subfloor in, and there's like holes all over the floor. So we have some filler that once we've sanded down all those holes, because most of them are rusty from having screws through them
Yeah.
for 12 years or something like that. So they're all rusty. So once we sand them down, prime them, paint them, then we are going to fill them with this, which is like, I think it's called filler.
Yeah.
So we're going to fill it, the holes with filler.
Yeah.
So let's get to work.
So dogs are doing us audience here. They're like peeking and wondering what we are doing, and they really want to go inside because they love my parents' RV, and they would love to spend time with us in a van while we are working on it. But it's not really reasonable because they would get probably sharps in their eyes. After 5 or 4 days of sanding off the rust, we finally put on primer / anti-corrosion solution. It worked very well. To be specific, we then had 4 or 5 full days of rust removed. It was like a few hours every day, I would say. And it's an acid, so it smells really bad. It's probably really bad for ice and other stuff. So we don't really want to breathe it for that long time. So we are gonna wipe it off now and paint it.
It stinks in here. Let's get cleaning. Right now we are taping up like a lot of areas. This door, the slider door behind me is all taped up. The cab was already taped up as of yesterday. But basically we're going to be spray painting like the rust or corrosion prevention paint, whatever it is. We are going to spray paint it because our van's not like that rusty other than a couple of like problem areas, but there's lots of like scratches and stuff on the floor that we needed to sand down. So we just decided, first of all, it's going to take us way less time, and second of all, I just think it's going to do a much better job of like preventing rust if we just cover everything, even the stuff that doesn't really need to be covered. So we're just kind of guessing as we go, so hopefully this is a good decision. So we quickly just wanted to talk about what it has been like. I want to say building a van, during a pandemic. But, I mean, we didn't really start building it still. So we are attempting to build this van in the Czech Republic. So one thing to note is we actually don't have our own Amazon. So we use the German Amazon. And pretty much everything I had saved to purchase off of Amazon is not delivering right now because obviously I don't even know if they're delivering anything to the Czech Republic right now.
I think that they just started.
If they are, it's essential goods, or at least a few weeks ago when we were trying to order off of Amazon. So a lot of like products that I had decided on were off of Amazon, so we couldn't order any of those because all of them were pretty much just like saying that it doesn't deliver right now. Obviously, just not having Amazon in the first place is going to make it difficult for us.
Also, almost every other store is closed, was closed, definitely. Almost like how long time was it, like a few weeks ago, not even, they opened the Obe, which was like a hardware store or something like
We have Home Depot. It literally,
yeah.
the sign looks very similar to Home Depot.
Yeah.
So it's just like I would say Obi's the main hardware store.
Yeah, exactly. Till now, it was like really hard to buy something, and even buying something online was really hard because deliveries are usually either few days or 5 to 10 days, and even if it was few days, it took like almost week, and if it was 5 to 10 days, it took like 3 weeks sometimes because it's just like everything is really slow, everything takes such a long time, and getting delivered here something from like a foreign storage area, from like a Germany or even China, takes very long.
And we just kept having stores cancel our deliveries. Like our first solar panel, we ordered it. That was like, I think the solar was like the very first thing we ordered.
Yeah.
I think it was over almost 3 weeks, and then we were waiting for them to deliver it, and then they just messaged us and were like, "Oh yeah, we forgot to cancel your order. That's not coming." So we had to order it from somewhere else, and it was more expensive, and then it took a really long time to come. So we've just been having a lot of issues. Like we've had a lot of products that were either they send us the wrong thing. That's happening so frequently that they send us the wrong thing and then they have to replace it, or like when we order it they say they have it and it's in stock and then it's just they don't.
They just call us and tell us that they don't have it, or
but not right away.
Not even.
Yeah, it's not even like they tell us right away. It'll be weeks later, or sometimes Joseph will call them and be like, "Where is this?" And they're like, "Oh,
yeah, we don't have it."
Yeah, oh, that's not coming. And it's just like, oh, okay, cool. I would say that part of it, I mean, I know it's being directly affected by the pandemic, but I would say part of that is just like bad customer service in Czech Republic.
Kind of could be somewhere.
Yeah, some of that is just like bad customer service. So the last thing that I wanted to mention is we definitely both were feeling a little bit discouraged. Obviously, we like gave up our apartment, quit our jobs-ish, like moved to remote work, and then, moved out to a village to build a van, and the global pandemic happened, and all the borders closed. And, like, our deadline for this has always been we wanted to be at Oktoberfest. We were hoping to be done before Oktoberfest, but we're like, the absolute latest is Oktoberfest. And then when that got canceled, we were both a little bit bummed out, I would think, and we were very discouraged. So, like, I would say the first 2 weeks we were here, we didn't do anything because we didn't even, like, order products. Because
didn't really know if, like, how things are gonna be and if you're gonna have to wait. And nothing was really, like, we couldn't do anything, really. Like.
And, you know what, it was a very stressful and emotional time for us, just like it was for everyone else in the world. And I think we were just, like, reevaluating what do we do now.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus we had watched a lot of movies like Contagion, so we were like, okay, this is the end of the world, should we still build a van? That was me. But anyways, now as long as the weather holds out, which it doesn't look like it's going to, we're actually going to be starting to build. I mean, we've done all the prep work, but now it's like we're finally done preparation. So the very next thing is to like actually do something, build something in the van. So definitely follow along and see what we build. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to see our new videos.
If you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. Please share this video and give us a like.
To see more from us, check out our Instagram at Joseph and Kaylee, or catch up on some of our older videos.